Hello again and welcome to another episode of the TryPod, and this week we preview week 2 of the finals. Let go! We got to give the people.
What do we give the people?
Give the people what they want. Welcome back to another episode of the TryPod, and this week we're going to be talking about week 2 of the finals. How you going, Sakib?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Yeah, people should be remembering the name and passing it on too, because we kept our winning streak alive.
Absolutely.
Winning in the finals when it matters most.
And now we've gone, I think, 13 winning weeks out of the last 15, which is an incredible run that we're on. So we'll hope to continue it on this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was an epic start to the finals, I think. 4 really high quality games.
Yeah.
I'd say 3 out of 4 at least.
Yep.
With the Bunnies really their season falling away. We can
Yeah.
talk a little bit about the games, but how was your weekend, bro? I haven't seen you for a week or barely
No.
spoken to you. How you doing?
No, I had an alright weekend. Went out to Tangalooma there, out in Moreton Island, did some snorkeling.
It's a beautiful part of the world.
It is, yeah. Fed some dolphins, did some kayaking, snorkeled the wrecks, rescued a drunk Asian chick that was lying in a pool of her own vomit.
Oh, yeah?
That kind of stuff.
All in the weekend's work.
Yeah. How about yourself? I heard you went to a wedding on the weekend.
Yeah, shout out to Holly and Max. Congratulations. It was fantastic.
Oh,
It
yeah?
was such a good
one,
weekend.
was it?
Yeah, man. Sorry you couldn't
Great.
have come, yeah.
No, I would have loved to. Yeah, but I wasn't invited.
Oh, that's all right. But but no, it was great. Yeah, lots of fans of the pod there. Had a great time.
Was there? Yeah,
Had
it's great.
Many beers.
The word's getting out there.
Yeah. No, it
Good
was
to
a
hear.
beautiful wedding.
That's great.
But there was also a lot of footy. A lot of footy on, starting with Friday night.
Yes.
The upset straight away.
Yep.
And
who would have saw that coming?
Yeah, I mean, we highlighted on last week's pod, we don't love the Storm. We didn't have a best bet on the Storm. But I just made the point that the Roosters had not been tested since they lost Hargraves and Pearce.
Correct.
They lost those guys 3 weeks ago. They played 2 teams in Manly and the Bunnies that had just about given up and certainly didn't play well on those, given nights. And everyone thought it was business as usual for the Roosters. But actually, when push came to shove in that tight game against the Storm, they definitely missed Weir Hargraves, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And the Storm are just clinical. They just did not make any mistakes at all. And the Roosters, you could sort of feel them coming, but then it just fell apart when they got in the Storm 20. And yeah, just didn't have much in offense, did they? And yeah, the Storm just love those kind of games. Just grinded out and held on to a two-point win.
Yeah, and wasn't Cam Smith sensational?
Yeah.
We didn't make a best bet on the Storm. We said we liked them getting 8, getting 7.5, but you couldn't play the Storm if Smith was going to be out.
Definitely.
And I know he didn't get man of the match. Cooper Cronk got it, but Smith was absolutely superb. And he's not a great kicker, but he slotted 3 from the sideline. 4 from 4. They won that game by 2 points. He was the difference. He was unbelievable. Whipping like laser beams from dummy half. Look, I still don't think the Storm are that great. I kind of think they know that. They know their limitations, but they might be the best coach team in the comp, and they've got probably 2 of the smartest rugby league minds on the field. They just know how to control a game and keep themselves in it, and when they get the lead, they can strangle. And also, another point I want to make about the Storm, and they've obviously got the week off this week, which is a great position to be in. They seem fine. Totally happy to lose the penalty count. They lost the penalty count by 5 or 6 pens against Brisbane and against the Roosters, and they won on the road both times because the ref can't give a penalty every second tackle, and they're deliberately pushing the limit on wrestling and slowing the play the ball, and they're going to lose the penalty count, but they know they'll win the ruck. And it just doesn't allow the opposition to get any momentum against them.
And they are the best team at slowing down the ruck like that. And yeah, I'm sure Bellamy's had a chat to him because even when the Roosters are hitting the line hard in the Storm 20, they're happy to just, it might be first tackle and they're sort of backpedaling, and they'll just give away a pen, get the line set and get ready for another set of 6. And I think, that's the way to go. Like, giving away a pen like that when you're backpedaling, that's fine. They get another set of 6, 1 extra tackle, but you've got your line set and you're ready in D, and they kept them out, dozens of times like that.
Yeah, and being ready on D is important, and some penalties are bigger than others, and we'll talk a little about the Roosters when we preview Roosters Dogs. But there were a couple of big penalties and talking points in that second game of Dragons Dogs. The Dragons side that I said I had faith in really put up a pretty gutsy performance considering Benji went off injured with half an hour to go and Riddip played with 1 leg.
Yeah, but he was sensational. He was absolutely sensational.
He's the heart and soul of that team.
Yeah, definitely. And the Dogs looked gone for all money. until they went over in, what was it, I think the 78th minute or 79th minute or something like that. But then Mbai is an absolute gimp, cannot slot a conversion from what I think it was 10 metres to the right of the post.
That's going to be an issue. You know, they lost Hodgkinson, as we said.
It's one of the best kickers.
That's a drop off. That could cost them 2 to 4 points per game just in Hodgkinson's goal kicking.
And in the finals, when you've got such low totals and they're close games like that, every point counts.
Yep.
Like we saw in the Roosters game, with the Roosters missing a few conversions, and Cam Smith obviously making all of them.
Yep.
They won't end up winning by 2 points. But then the Dogs must have thought they were going to get robbed again, you know. They obviously lost the short kick-off, lost possession there, and then, gave away a pen for accidental offside, and then Widdop slotted it. But then, Dogs came away victorious, and I think, oh, God, that's going to be a ripper of a game this week.
We'll talk more about the Dogs and the judiciary decisions from last night when we preview that game.
Yep.
But I'll just say, I said all along that the Dragons were actually, when healthy, a really good outfit. I'm not going to take too much away from the Dogs for not, running in multiple tries, more than 2 against the Dragons, because that Dragons team is one of the very best defensive sides in the comp. How about the Queensland derby, mate? That was another ripper of a game.
Yeah, mate, I'll be honest with you. I watched the first half and then I fell asleep. It was a big day that day. But yeah, look, Ben Hunt was just sensational, and they really did miss him in those couple of games towards the end of the season. But he really did put it on, obviously, scoring that try in the first half that gave them the lead there. But the Cows, I mean, they're still sort of getting back to their form, obviously, with, Morgan coming back into the team, but Thurston was sensational again, and I really do rate that team. But Brisbane, man, I think they've got a real shot here, and I've got to say, we sort of underestimated them, but as the season's gone on, man, they've gotten better. And obviously Corey Parker back into the side was a big inclusion. But, in saying that, the Cows, I think they're going to be fine. Big crowd out there in Suncorp. Wish I could have been there.
Yeah, and we don't need to take much away from the Cowboys. There were 2 great teams on the park that night.
Agreed.
One of them had to lose. And you're right, the Cows can definitely bounce back. I think Michael Morgan wasn't all that effective. And we factored that in when we made 2 best bets. We had Brisbane under 4 tries and the total under 42, and they were both very comfortable winners.
Yep.
So that was good. A good way to keep our finals campaign going.
Definitely.
And something that let us down was the Sunday game, of course, and I hated that best bet more and more every day after the pod, so I've got to apologise. Really, when I thought about it more, George Burgess being out for the Bunnies really just tipped the favour very much in Cronulla's direction. I thought, with Fafita coming back, although he had a bit of a maligned return, their forward pack was just always going to be a step better and too strong. Right. For a Bunnies team that was missing, Isaac Luke and John Sutton as well.
Just not enough attacking firepower they had.
You can try and look at the matchups, and I actually really liked the Sharks in that game, and I regretted having them under 3.5 tries. But you can't really predict that the Bunnies were just going to mail it in. They really, really showed no heart. They disappointed me in the last 3 weeks of the season.
In the last few weeks of the season, they just have absolutely fallen apart.
I mean, people call them a one-man team, and I think that's quite a simplistic way of looking at it, and I think, well, really, there's a lot of other quality players around Inglis.
Yep.
But, geez, if he's not on fire, they really struggle, and you could see he was... the knee was ginger, and
he's definitely not 100%.
No,
I'll tell you what else. They missed Sam Burgess this year. They really did. But there's whispers that he's making a comeback to the NRL.
There are. Yeah, I thought Glenn Stewart could fill that void for them, but I don't know. He looks like he's really showing his age.
Yeah,
definitely. As he moves into the mid-30s.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the Sharkies win a finals game, which we haven't seen for a little while.
And shout out to Dwayne, who was in attendance there.
Yeah, that's right. Mixed picks. He was at Shark Park, cheering him home. He said he'd never seen so many people missing teeth as he had at that stadium. So good result for him. He would have been stoked, and they're every chance. Yeah. Well, they are a chance. That's why we play the games, because you just don't know what's going to happen.
That's it.
And speaking of, let's get into Roosters Dogs.
Yeah,
That's
why
what
not?
People want to hear.
All right, so we got first round of the finals on the Friday night. We got the Roosters hosting the Dogs. The Roosters are 8-point favourites, and the total low 34.5 to 35.5.
Yeah, and that was a good call by you to take the 8.5. You spoke to me about that Monday night.
Yep.
We should make that a best bet and play that straight away. And we posted that on our Facebook page. So it's important to, like the pod, follow the pod. You're going to get these best bets.
Yeah, definitely.
I think our look-ahead best bets we've always given out a line that went down.
I'm pretty sure, nearly every time. So.
Yeah, and
And you Sunday, need to jump on these early because they do change.
Well, I was looking at it Sunday morning when it was 8, and I was nearly going to say let's grab the 8.
Yeah.
Because it seems too high, but I just had my doubts then. I was of the understanding they might miss Cassiano and Pritchard, and I knew that Pearce would probably come back in, and I thought, you can definitely justify the Roosters being, 6 or 6.5 maybe point favourite.
Yep.
But obviously, as we know, Cassiano wasn't even cited for the flop, and I thought what he did, the second man in on Widdop, I thought was far worse. I thought he folded his neck over. Geez, that was dangerous. And
that's 120 kilos coming down on you.
Yeah, 120 if he's light.
Yeah, if he hasn't eaten all day.
And Pritchard got off the charge saying that he had a bit of a dicky knee and that he couldn't control himself and that it was more shins. I mean, geez, I don't know. Maybe it's the finals. Maybe they are given a bit more leniency. Yeah. That's all I can say. Look, we're happy with that because we've got the Dogs plus 8.5. That's too high. Even 8 is too high.
I think so too.
Don't you agree?
And they said, Pritchard went into the judiciary last night, and they were interviewing all the players and stuff, and they were saying, well, what's his defence going to be? And they essentially just said, he's a nice bloke. Didn't come in with any intent. So that's the way the judiciary saw it. But huge boost to the Bulldogs.
I thought Pritchard was past it, a bit washed up, like 2 or 3 years ago. But I tell you what, he's been one of their best players for his size. Definitely. He really handles the ball so well, and he's kind of characterises the whole Dogs team, and that they have enormous size but skill as well. Mm-hmm. And that's feeding maybe the best backline in the comp. I mean, the Roosters might have something to say about that. Yep. But look, I love the halves in Josh Reynolds and Mbai.
Yes.
The Morris brothers are both, exceptional. You can't deny their talent.
Yep.
Parrott and Rona. They're all class players, really, and that's why I'm looking at the Bulldogs total and the try line to try and maybe play the Dogs over because they've just got so many ways to score tries in this team, and it's quite a low total.
It's such a low total, 34.5. You can find out there. So, and so in games like this, you sort of need to look at that, and both of these teams do have attacking weapons, and I know it is a finals game and it's expected to be low scoring. But I agree. I mean, because of the line and it's sitting at 8 at the moment, and we hope you did jump out there and grab the 8.5. But I mean, general consensus would still grab the 8 if you missed the 8.5.
Yeah.
But because of the low total, you can find a really low Dogs team total, and that's sitting at 12.5 at the moment. Or you can go over 2.5 tries, but I think that the 12.5 is certainly better.
Yeah, I was looking to play them over 2.5 tries because Mbai's not a good kicker. Mm-hmm. But then when I saw 12.5, to get 12.5 points, they're going to need to score over 2.5 tries.
Correct.
Or if they do score 3 tries, which is what you need for the try line, they'll be over 12.5, and penalties could come into play as well.
Correct.
So look, I think that's a really good bet.
Yep.
Taking them over the try line there. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be a ripper of a game.
Yep,
Just one more thought I have on the Roosters. They should be improved. They didn't execute well against the Storm, and that was partly because they were slowed down in the ruck so much. Mm-hmm. Mitchell Pearce comes back into the team, but look, Hastings was one of their best on ground last week. So I don't know how much improvement they'll get out of that. I really still think this team is going to miss Warrior-Hargreaves, and they will miss him when they're lining up against Graham, Tolman, Clemmer as well. And that's why I think the Dogs can win this game, but I just can't wait to watch it.
I agree, and I'd almost say sprinkle a little bit on the money line. The Dogs are sitting at about $3.20. I think you can find a little bit more there. And I'd chuck a sneaky on the Dogs to win that game outright.
It's going to be close.
Because I agree with you. Hastings has been absolutely fantastic for them the last few weeks. And obviously, slotting Pearce into their first came back, it's going to be awfully tricky for him to find his feet again.
And I'm expecting he'll be 90%, but those hammy injuries are always tricky.
That's right. When you've got a playmaker, stepping and that sort of thing, and they've got a leg injury, it's always a worry. And not being 100% in these finals, it can cost you. So I like the Dogs in this.
Let's move to the second game, mate.
Let's go. We've got the Cows hosting the Sharkies up at 1300 Smiles Stadium. We've got the Cows -8 favourites and the total 38.5.
Yeah, as we said before, I think the Cows are fine as long as Morgan's all right. And with ankle injuries, you can always kind of strap it up, and it does just take time to heal. And JT seemed to move pretty well. It's good enough for me.
He's fine.
I think that he can get it done. I still think the Cowboys can win the comp. I think things actually broke really well for them on the weekend. I know they didn't win, but the Bulldogs and the Roosters fell to the opposite side of the draw.
Yep.
And now they've got to go through Cronulla and the Storm, and they're a better side than both of those two to make a grand final. I actually put a bit of a bet on the Cowboys at 6-1 to win the comp.
Yep.
Just after the results had played out, because I think, $1.38 this weekend, I think they'll be about a pick 'em.
Probably.
In Melbourne, even against the rested Storm. The Storm did lose Korobidi and possibly, I think, Glasby.
It's a massive loss for them.
And that's going to hurt them. So, look, all I'll say is you don't want to bet against the Cowboys up in Townsville here. They have one of the absolutely best teams they've ever had, and what may be the best roster in the comp when you consider JT and the other weapons around him and guys like Talmalolo, who's found a new level. But I just can't find a very good, worthy best bet because they're really making you pay a premium here, and you don't want to lay 8 points with the Cows. I don't. There's a couple things that we rarely lay.
Yes.
We say every week. That's women and over 6 points. And nothing's going to change on Saturday night, because I do expect that the Sharks will turn up with a plan to make it an absolute grind fest and keep it as low scoring as they can. That's how they play, and that's their style. Just makes it so hard to find a best bet in this game, so I don't have one.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I think they've set this deliberately high, this line, because they know they're going to get Cows money. But the problem is, it seems like a great time to play the Cows, obviously coming off a loss last week, and the Sharkies coming off a big win against the Rabbits on Sunday. But, in saying that, this line is still just a touch too high. If it was under a converted try, you'd play that straight away. But 8's just going to be too much. I think the Cows will win this game, but I'm not laying 8 points with them. So, unfortunately, to stay away from us.
That's okay. We've got 2 best bets after 2 games, and there's less games, less opportunities to make money. We've said this before. We don't want to reach, When you reach, the tab's going to teach. So I'll summarise our best bets, but first, we better hear from our loyal sponsor.
Sanity is now on Facebook. Like the page to gain access to free downloadable mixes and stream Night Tremors radio from any connected device. Sanity, proudly supporting the TryPod NRL betting podcast.
And not only do we give out ripper bets, but we give out ripper deals as well. And I asked you what you had for lunch today, and I'm not quite sure what you had. You had your own lunch pack. Usually we have our own lunch in the car, but today I had a delicious sandwich, chicken schnitzel. On delicious bread, freshly baked bread, tomato, mayo, cheese, lettuce, $2.
Where did you find
$2. Had a little birdie told me the other day that on Wednesdays, every Wednesdays at 7-Eleven, $2 sandwiches, usually $7. And I actually heard that a lot of homeless people and poor people come into Sevy's at 2 to 3 a.m. and just stock up. But
why wouldn't you?
It was an awesome sandwich. So not only do we give out great bets, great deals too. 7-Eleven every Wednesday in September, $2 sandwiches.
Well, hey, we give the people what they want, and look, when we see value, we've got to let people know about
it. That's great value.
And look, I want to let people know about Sanity. Check out his Facebook page. He drops bangers, and look, there's been quite a few ladies out there getting night tremors lately because he's moved to a new house.
He has.
And look, can't say too much, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying that he told me he's been pulling tail like a 4-year-old at the zoo.
Oh no!
So
that's multiple tails.
That's
that's a lot of tails.
Your imagination can run wild. As the animals can't.
He's doing well out there.
To summarise our best bets, we gave out an early play on Monday night.
Hope
the
you got
Bulldogs plus 8.5, and we've just added a second one to that. The Bulldogs over 12.5 points for the team total.
Yep. Bam.
Well, mate, there's lots of other stuff going on.
The
NFL started up. Actually, let's we'll make no apologies for talking about Hayne. I think it's interesting. It's topical.
People might be sick of it, but come on.
He had a mixed debut. But he exceeds my expectations, man. I was really stoked to see him getting meaningful carries at running back in a game where, it wasn't garbage time. It wasn't just the result out of question. And he was getting carries at running back.
Yeah, correct. And it did help his cause a lot that Bush got injured, obviously, which gave him a few more carries. But he got double-digit carries, I think, in there. And he had a few good runs. I think he made double-digit meters on one. I know he broke off to the side, had a catch, and then made another 7. So he's doing well. Obviously, terrible start, but... that stuff happens.
It dropped the punt, but it didn't cost them at all. They won the game 20-3. That's really cool that he was getting to field punts.
Yeah, exactly.
In the first team, he's the third string running back on this side. But as you said, Reggie Bush is the second string. He did his ankle, so that's actually really great news for Jared Hayne.
Plus, they play in another 6 days, so I don't know if his ankle's going to be right by
No,
a week.
exactly,
Yeah.
and that means opportunity for Hayne. And look, he did not look out of place. He's in behind a guy called Carlos Hyde, who's actually a stud at running back, and everyone is saying he's going to get a lot of carries and get the bulk of the work.
Yep.
But look, spelling Hyde for now, getting in behind him is still a great opportunity. The only other issue is it's not a great San Francisco team. They're not going to be winning too many games this year, I don't think, unfortunately. They're in an absolutely horrendous division with some killer teams.
There's 16 games in the season, and their team win-loss is 5.5, so they're expected to win about 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, and when you're winning, you tend to run the ball more because the clock runs, and...
But the thing is, Hyde had an absolutely monster game. I think he had 168 yards, 2 TDs, absolute monster. So he's going to get the bulk of the running. But as we were talking about off-air, they need 2 running backs. You can't just have one running back carrying all the workload. Yep. It's just too much for him. So
running back is the most brutal position in the sport, and it's old-fashioned really to have one guy that gets all the carries, because if that guy gets injured or if that guy gets tired, then he makes mistakes and he's not as effective late. So it's very much become common for teams to have running back by committee, where you have fresh guys you can throw at the defense on different series, and that's going to play really well for Jared Hayne, who's now potentially the second best healthy running back.
That's right.
On that San Fran
and he's
roster.
going to see a lot more plays at running back than he will, obviously, as a punt returner.
And he's shown his ability to catch the ball, as you said, which is important.
That's right. And it didn't help that Ellington scored a TD off that punt return, but even so, I think, you're going to see a few more minutes from Hayne, especially next week. So.
Yeah, and we're stoked to see it happen.
Yeah,
look,
awesome.
It's not too late to join our NFL tipping comp either. We're giving out awesome $300, 300 bonus bet.
Yep.
If you can tip 60% on the season. I think we've already got a couple people
tipping at 63%.
That are tipping at that clip.
Yeah.
So, look, you can do it
One
too.
of them's your brother.
Yeah, well, there you go. The apple doesn't fall too far.
And he doesn't know anything about NFL.
Well,
does he?
As I said, good genetics.
Yeah, true.
I guess we can say.
Fair enough.
So, look, join up. The links are on our page. It's good fun. Get into the NFL. It's started at a perfect time, just as there's only 5 more games in the NRL season
exactly.
left.
And if you win the comp but don't tip over 60%, you still get a TryPod supporter pack, which is going to be awesome.
Absolutely.
Loads of cool stuff in there as well.
The AFL finals are on, and our very own man, Tom, he picked all 4 winners on the weekend.
Bam!
He went 3 out of 4 in a multi, just didn't cover the line with Freo. Just a few
2
points
upsets in there.
But geez, to pick 2 upsets as well. He made a lot of people a lot of money. He knows his stuff. And he's really hot. He's found his best form in the finals, which is what you want to do. Yeah,
absolutely.
And give a shout out to Pringle as well. Pringle's Premier League predictions.
Yep.
He's been going well as well and picking
picking
a couple of upsets. He's not afraid to make a bold prediction either. So if you like Premier League,
and a lot of those have come off too. So
that's it. Yeah. And while we're speaking about the other sports, and we spoke about NFL before, of course, we've got Netty Given Sunday, which is maybe my favourite segment.
Yeah,
that we're giving out. You just have to read it. It's just the perfect mix of knowledge and banter. And, it's everything. Even
if you don't like NFL or are just starting to get into it, it is hilarious. He's got a lot of useful information in there that you can use betting, but not only that, it is an hilarious read.
And he does a lot of work behind the scenes, and he's researching a lot of market moves, and he's really got a lot of valuable information for you. If you're looking at having a punt on the NFL, which is pretty good fun, you need to understand the ins and outs and the mechanics of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And Nettie does, and he knows a lot about the players as well. So,
definitely. And especially now the NFL season's just kicked off, but there are lots of good promos out there if you're looking to just throw a few bucks on the NFL. I know that our good friends over at LuxBet have a promo where if your team loses by 7 or less points, which is a key number in NFL, you get your money back as a bonus bet. But even so, not a lot of games get won by more than 7 points.
No, and definitely not when the back door's left open.
Yes. Mate. And speaking of LuxBet, once again last weekend they had $2.50 favourites on all your NRL and AFL finals. $2.50 on every single favourite. So if you played all of those, you definitely won money. Not only that, they've got the same deal going this week. $2.50 on every favourite in the NRL and AFL, which is a massive deal because you've got a lot of $1.30, $1.40 favourites in there. So
I'll
it's
tell you right
worth
now,
it.
And you can never really say this, but look, the Cowboys are going to win this weekend. So there's $2.50 guaranteed winner. That I'm calling it right now.
You got the Hawks in there.
And JT we trust.
So I mean you chuck all 4 of those bets down.
Oh, it's AFL as well.
Yeah, AFL as well. You chuck all 4 of those bets down, we guarantee you will not lose money. But yeah, if you don't have a Luxbet account, go out and grab one. Find the link on our page. You get a $700 match bonus.
But look, and I think we've pretty much given people everything. But of course, there's another really big finals.
There is.
Competition coming up this week.
Yes.
I know everyone's been listening out, waiting for it, but it's the Batchy.
Yes.
We're down to
final 3.
3 girls.
Yep. And when I wrote my post, there was 5 left, and I predicted the order that they would go out, and I've been bang on the money. 2 out of 2.
You absolutely have. You've been prophetic. You've been an oracle. So you still see Snez taking it out.
I still see Snez taking it all out.
I've seen as much as I can. I watched a bit of the home visits last week, and they were all pretty scary. Who's Warwick?
Yeah.
He's not her dad, is he? He's not Heather's dad, but he's the scariest motherfucker I've ever seen. Like,
it's because he doesn't want anyone rooting her.
I would have run. Yeah, well, he's got a problem. He's got a problem. But she was booted out shortly after.
Yep. Your favourite.
Geez, I tell you, Snez's family, it seems a bit crazy too. Her brother trying to put the hard word down. I don't know,
telling you though. I'm telling you though, they tell these people.
Macedonians,
they tell these people to fucking act it up. You know, get angry with them, asking the hard questions. But really, I mean, is Batchy really scared of an 18-year-old kid? Not really.
No, I do like Batchy Wood, I've got to admit.
Yeah.
Who else did he... Oh, even I didn't like... he met Lana's mum, and Lana's mum's all like, oh, you need to move to New South Wales.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Come on.
She's guff.
Yeah,
Lana's going to be gone tonight.
And, maybe Sarah?
Yeah,
Sarah's dad was an absolute chiller.
Yeah, super chill. He's like, oh, so what do you think of Sarah? And Batchy's like, yep, I like her. And he's like, all right, cheers. And then gave him a beer.
Yeah, he's
chiller.
Pretty much...
Reminds me of Heathy.
Yeah, and I think my prediction actually is that none of the girls are perfect.
Yep.
And that what he may end up doing is going with Sarah because I believe she's Melbourne-based. It's the easy option.
Yep.
She's 25.
Well, Sarah's the safe choice, isn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, she's going to be one of those ones that doesn't really talk back to him. She's going to stay at home, raise the kid, cook, clean, all that kind of stuff. She's just a quiet sort of chiller. But she's the safe choice.
She's got a bit of an annoying laugh, you know, that little kind of giggle she does.
She's got a plain face too.
Yeah.
Just a really plain face.
Plain Jane. Well, you said that about Heather, but you know, you're a hard marker.
Yeah.
But look, that's what we want. So,
but it's going to be great tonight and tomorrow night.
Who's going to get punted?
Tonight, Lana gets punted, and tomorrow Sarah gets punted, and then Snez takes it all.
And does he propose? Can't muck around. She's 34 years old. Well, that
plus, if he wants a kid with her, he's got to hurry up.
And what odds was Snez to start the show?
11 to 1.
Yeah. And you said, grab that. She must be the favourite right now.
Yeah.
So again, we're giving value on and off the park.
Definitely.
And that should wrap it up as Heathy never does.
That will wrap it up.
So good luck to everybody. Hope you enjoy. Grab the promos. Check out all our other sports previews. Most importantly, please
gamble responsibly.